Thank you very much. In fact, the today's theme, when I was gearing up during challenging times. So one thing which I would like to share with all the investors is that challenges will come always. When I go through the lighthouse story, I think you will understand how much of challenging times we have started this project. So if I start with the lighthouse, is one company among Jetwing Hotels, is a well-known brand in the hospitality industry in Sri Lanka. And we have covered from north to the east to the south to all the areas. We have basically 35 properties we have. So out of that, we have two public quoted companies. One is Jetwing, the Lighthouse Hotel PLC, other one is Jetwing Symphony. So today I will brief you a fascinating story about how we have started 25 years back the Lighthouse and how we have listed and what is the success story of up to now. If I go to the next slide, I am just putting our Herbert Curry, founder and former chairman of Jetwing, who was a visionary. You will understand why I am telling visionary when I start talking about the lighthouse story with the timelines. So I can go to the next two slides just to see what kind of properties coming. Basically, initially we started with 80 luxury rooms with 3 theme suites and with 1 pool. And of course, spa, gym, and all kind of normal things. And going forward, then we developed it to next slide with the Jetwing Colombo, with during the period. At the timeline, I will tell this whole story of this developing this fascinating company. So here we have again developed 6 rooms, 4 deluxe rooms and 2 luxury private villas. Again, it's owned by Lighthouse Hotel PLC. And thereafter, we also added additional 22 rooms. If you go to the other slide, it will be there. Okay, we have added that slide. This is while doing that slide, I'll come later. Until that, basically, there is, we also have a 100% owned subsidiary in Unwatuna Beach Resort, which is owned by Lighthouse Hotel. That also within this 25 years journey, we have added 21 rooms. It's a selected service hotel, and which is very popular with the, which is very much popular with the budget traveler or selected traveler. So one issue Sri Lanka was talking about is always some are complaining that rates are high, and for that reason we have created this budget, the selected service property, which will give a low rate and you can book for basically $25–30. Okay, I'll go to the next slide. So I think this is the story which I will take a little more time. And this is a private limited company which was started in 1994, 1995. And thereafter, around 95, 96, we were planning to construct the hotel. At that time, we started with the partnership with Palis PLC at that time. And during this 1996, just before we were supposed to lay down our stone next day, previous day, there was the central bank bomb went off. So actually the whole board and we were thinking what to do with this. At that time, the chairman of Palis was Sunil Mendis, who spoke to our chairman at that time, Herbert Curry. And basically he said, just go ahead. And in fact, so that is what I told that challenging times will not be only now. So even 25 years back, it is absolute a challenging time, which basically we have decided to invest. Behind this story, no, previous slide, I'll just go through that slide a little more. And during night, I would like to share another story which I think which will be useful to all the investors at this point of time. During 95-96, this particular land was basically we have acquired our late chairman, and basically he was deciding to build a hotel in Galle. So then we retained some top class at that time two firms who also advised on this, and also we were in touch with a lot of including brokers and all of the stock exchange with regard to even we were thinking of going for listing. And also I myself joined Jetwing at that time. So one day there was a board meeting, and we were evaluating, we were being given the task to evaluate this project by the board and headed by our founder, Mr. Herbert Corey. So during that time, we were excited. We were just got our professional qualifications, and we were very energetic, and we were analyzing all the way. And so these analyses were given independently. So I have done my analysis, and my recommendation for the board at that time was not to proceed with this project, looking at our investment, looking at the tourist arrivals, and also looking at what is happening in I acquired all the data around Galle, tourist arrivals, how many people are staying, all kind of things. So I did a presentation, and our chairman told excellent presentation, and he said, I want this kind of analysis which will help me to take decisions. So I was very happy that basically conclusion is not to go into the project. So I was not aware. Then subsequently, there were two firms also has come and given the presentations and said basically not to go in line with me. So I was so happy. So at least the professionally much more experienced than me also have recommended the same thing and all. So we were looking, board meeting was going on, and the final board meeting comes out saying that to immediately start the project. So I was absolutely confused after praising my presentation and everybody of the chairman, what he was telling. We immediately start the project and go ahead, and at that time it's about close to 400 million investment. 25 years ago is a massive investment from Jetwing point of view, as well as from the country's point of view. So after about a year or two, I was speaking to our founder, chairman, and asked, "Sir, I am really confused. You praised me, you told everybody excellent presentation, and you decided to go ahead with the project." Then his answer was very simple, and he was telling, "You came and presented, and you told tourist stays in Galle is very low. You said tourist arrivals coming to the Galle was very low. You said the prices they are paying is very low. More and more, you and including all the others told me this story. I was much more convinced the fact that why tourists are not coming to the Galle, why the tourists are basically staying in guest houses and normal rooms, because they never had a top class hotel in Galle. So there's a massive opportunity. More and more you are presented, I knew that there was a massive opportunity arising in the Galle area. So I think I am just sharing the actual experience from investors, how a visionary will look at the investments. We do all kind of analysis and how you interpret this analysis. So our interpretation is not to go ahead with the project, and his interpretation was based on our analysis is to go ahead with the project, because he's telling when the tourism was not performing in Galle, this is the best time to go ahead. So it's a fascinating story, and tourism is a very sensitive industry. We started when we listed, there was all the brokers were not actually supporting at that time. And they also told the same, saying that tourists are very low, rates are low, all kind of stories. And when I go to numbers, I will tell how successful was the project after 25 years. In addition to capital appreciation, we also added in 2002 the additional second pool, and 2006 these additional Colombo, the 6 rooms were added from funds generated from the hotel. 2000 again. We have started around 2011-12. We added additional 20 rooms to the original 80 rooms which we had, also from funds generated from Lighthouse. Not a single fund we have requested from shareholders. 2015, we added further rooms to the Colombo, which is again a part of property of Lighthouse. And 2017, its fully owned subsidiary, 100% owned subsidiary, which I mentioned earlier, was added. So 2022, we are completing 25 years, and in the tourism industry being sensitive, being one of the, when I go to numbers, I will explain you with the numbers, and it's one of the very much successful projects in the tourism. If I go to the next slide. So last year, we all know the challenges we faced in the tourism industry, starting from 21st April 2019, where the Easter Sunday bomb attack was the first hit to the tourism industry, was doing very well at that time. In fact, we had close to 2.3 million tourists, and which we were generating over $4.5 billion in 2018-19. When the Easter Sunday bomb attack came. Then, of course, as you know, the Corona effect, whole world was locked down. Our source markets were locked down, but still for all, we were able to survive during this without a single tourist coming on even certain months. Of course, the local market gave the maximum support to us. Then it continued. Then we again faced with now we are facing and going through the economic crisis, and also with all those challenges in 2022, we were able to maintain about 35,000 ARR at about 37% occupancy. Normally, this kind of a hotel should do about close to 60 to 70% occupancy. Colombo, being a small property, we maintained about 52% occupancy, and selected service hotel, which also worked about, normally this kind of hotel J should work close to 80-90% occupancies in good times. We were managed to work last year with 43% occupancy. So we were just coming up through 31st March 2022, and again the April, May, June, we all aware that fuel crisis, Sri Lankans could not travel. So our business during last 3 to 6 months is about close to 80% is local market. So we are relying mainly on the local market. They also could not travel. So that has affected the performance as well. If I go to the next slide, is being actually January, February, March, we were able to have a very good recovery comparatively after about 2-3 years. And we had about 79% GP margin and also net profit of 5% compared to what we were facing during the COVID time. EBITDA margins, we were maintaining roughly 40 to 45%. One quarter we were able to do, but if you look at overall, we were down to about 23% this year. Last year, of course, minus it's just lockdowns and coronavirus and all. But still, for all, profit after tax, we also have a dollar loan where the rupee depreciation hit the P&L, and that has resulted. That is why with the exchange loss, we have made a 78 million consolidated loss. But still, without profit after tax, both properties made about 36 million loss, with depreciation also having close to about 100 million. So there's no cash loss as far as the hotels. It's a great achievement. So these 25 years, this Lighthouse tourism was very sensitive. It is bounced back very fast, as well as it whenever somebody talks, not only in Sri Lanka, even UK or France, we are getting affected. So Ukraine war also affected to a certain extent, but we can see some very good recoveries coming through at the moment as well. So from the history 25 years, other than the first year, other than 1 year in I think 2008 or 2009, we continued to make profits. Our dividend payments ratio was close to 75%. Majority of the time, out of that 25 years, we should have paid at least 18 to 20 years dividends, which dividend payment ratio is basically between 50 to 75%. Most of the time, it's about 70-75%. So while we were developing the company, we were able to declare dividends as well. I just looked at what is the total dividend, this 460 million investment has been done. Up to last, we have already declared about close to 1.2 billion worth of dividends between these 25 years. So tourism industry, as you all know, is the most affected industry, being as it may be, but still Lighthouse is a successful story. And also as today's theme, gearing up during challenging times is basically, it is not a, yes, we are all facing, but even if you ask me 25 years ago, when the central bank bomb went, when the airport was attacked, one by one planes were destroying, we were watching from the television, our connectivity goes up, but tourism never went out, it came back. And also, I also personally believe that tourism is the way forward. We can easily bring $5 billion in a good year. In fact, today at the interim budget also, President told he's expecting 2.3 million tourists to come next year. So that is a very good way of working. We brought 2.3 million tourists came in 2018-19 and generated close to $4.5 billion to the country. So I think tourism not generating this 4 to 5 billion during last 3 years also would have been affected our economic situation, dollar problem in the country. So we think this the government interim budget also forecasting, we also very confident that we will be able to get this at least $4-5 billion if we get the full potential. So I think it's a very successful financial position, although share price has come down as like most of the other industries. With the tourism industry also it came down, but we have been investment of 460 million. Lighthouse has closed about 2.6 billion worth of reserves, retained earnings about 60 million. Having gone through all those things, we have close to our net asset position is about 3.2 billion. So being a one hotel with one subsidiary, that is the potential of tourism. Is a high investment. Of course, the return also high. And when we get from foreign markets opening up Sri Lanka, normally in Sri Lanka, it's about 70% of the market share is foreign, 30% is local. Now it's other way around. But when that started coming up, and also with the rupee depreciation coming up, I think the tourism in rupee terms will be a very much higher revenue will coming in compared to our increase of cost. One industry that will stand out during this crisis situation. So that is a very much successful story, and Lighthouse gearing is about 14%, very much comfortable. And that also we obtained the loans purely because to construct our 100% on subsidiary, which we use those funds. Okay, next slide. Again, this last 3 months, we had close to 275,000 tourist arrivals, which I told January to March. And that shows that our quarter performance is in line with that. So that is in line. So I have gone a little more detail on finance. So basically, let me go to the next slide. So I mentioned again debt equity 3 billion. Okay, I think all I have discussed. I will come to the mainly Jetwing sustainability. I would like to go to the next few slides. And mainly we have a solar generation in our hotel with the limited space available. And also we believe going forward as a sustainable company, we have to reduce our consumption. So one is we are using solar. Other thing is much as possible we are using now these. In addition to that, we have taken a policy decision in any of our Jetwing hotels. For last 5 to 7 years, we have never served anything, no apples, no grapes, no oranges. We are spending millions of dollars to import those. And one misconception having is some of us think that the foreigners are coming here to have this foreign food. So that is a misconception from Jetwing point of view, not from Jetwing, even from country point of view. These foreigners will not require to eat any of those. They very well known. These kind of items are several months old. We have used all kind of chemicals to keep for these freshness, and they don't even touch hygiene guests. Don't. So basically, we have gone out from this part of sustainable. These sustainable are all. You can go to few other slides as well. These are biomass and all those things. But one thing I would like to touch in this total reducing consumption and reducing the imports. So we also not importing any of our seafood. You will not see any of the imported seafood in any of our Jetwing hotels. And mind you, we also have hotels like even Jetwing Lighthouse. In the season, we were selling a room at about $300-400. In fact, Jetwing Villuena, Jetwing Saman Villas, that kind of properties, we sell even $700-800 without using none of these. We are using these imported items. Guests are basically paying that price, and they are basically happy with the food we are eating. So it is absolutely important that we use maximum possible local items. There are few items which we can't avoid. So I would say about 80% are local and 20% foreign, which to very few items which we use. For example, we are using coconut oil and all those otherwise, but we can't avoid olive oil for salads and all. There are like that. There are few things which we use, but Jetwing as a part of sustainable practices, we are reducing our imports as a responsible company, and to keep these dollars, whatever we get, we were keeping over 70-75%. Our target is to even keep 85-90% in Sri Lanka from Jetwing hotels. So I will not go in too much of detail of the other sustainable practices, but one thing I would, just before finishing, I would touch, that is Jetwing Youth Development Program. You can go through the other slides as well. And that is where we basically take other Jetwing Youth Development Project. This is the slide. And there what we do is we take children from the area, and we basically train them, and then we develop. In fact, one of our hotels, when there was slightest issues in the service, some of the hygiene guests were not aware that we are using this program. As soon as we explained them that how these children from the villages after A-levels, which we were waiting, we were taking them skill training. We give 4 to 6 months free training in our properties, and then we absorb them with permanent jobs. Some stay with us, some go out, but we like both, because if they go out, we will get the foreign currency to the country. So that is one important thing. Already we have about close to 1,500 children. We have already trained and majority absorbed. About 40-50% has obtained overseas jobs, and basically that is one of the things which would love to give it to the community. Again, 5 project community swimming pool is one thing which this care project. Community swimming pool, I will just touch that purely because this is after tsunami with the 2 donors. Lighthouse donated the land, and we found that a lot of deaths were happened in the Galle area purely because the people could not swim at the tsunami attack. So we developed this community swimming pool, and for all the school children, we provided free of charge to learn swimming. So our objective is, if there's any requirement, even if they go to swim, go to a river, if they go to sea, even in the tsunami time, they are able to, at least we can save a few lives while swimming is the project which we have carried out. So many projects. So I would like to, I think my time is over. So with that, I think other slides also we can go through. I will not go through in detail all these organic farming, all those things, and I will not touch those. But that is our passion, and I think my time is over. If the questions are there, I will answer the one. Thank you.